Hi, everybody. This is Nikki Reddington, the social media anchor, and we are here at Debt Free Indiana, a federally recognized debt relief agency. If any of you know of anyone that is going through a bankruptcy or are being burdened by high student loan payments, well, I would love to introduce you to my special guest today, Ryan Wright, owner of Debt Free Indiana. Ryan, thank you so much for being here today.
Hi, thank you, Nikki. My name is Ryan Wright. It's the law offices of Ryan Scott Wright, and we do primarily bankruptcy, also help people with student loan issues, and that's mostly what we stick to.
So can you please share a little bit about the bankruptcy side and how you help folks out with who might be going through bankruptcy?
I mean, the biggest thing with bankruptcy is just still, after all this time, sort of fighting the idea that it's exclusively some moral issue and people are bad and they just like buying a lot of shoes and don't like paying for them. Almost no one that comes to me is coming because they just don't want to pay for their stuff. It's always divorce, job loss, medical issues, something like that, something big that is out of their control to a large degree. There's some banks who have people whose job is to either get money or push you into bankruptcy. Then if all of a sudden you lose your income for a month, or I had people who were paying everything, they decided to paint their house themselves instead of hiring somebody to do it. One of them fell off the ladder, broke some body parts. Now then they were all of a sudden bankrupt. So just one incident of a health crisis and you're maybe tens of thousands of dollars in debt. If there's another option, go do that. Because outside of bankruptcy, you've got credit counseling and debt settlement outside of the bankruptcy option. Debt settlement companies are mostly scams, in my opinion. Most of them seem to be out of Florida. They're not, even if they aren't just blatantly ripping you off, they are not doing anything you couldn't do yourself, which is, if that's not going to work or if it's already progressed past those points, don't waste time. Don't waste a year trying to do credit counseling just to have to file bankruptcy anyways.
I see. Thank you for being so helpful and explaining and giving advice out to those out there who might be going through bankruptcy. And that's part of what you do as well. You are a debt counselor.
We've got a risk-free consultations, and I'll answer all the questions anybody has in trying to decide whether they even want to bother to come in first.
Okay.
It's a big step. It's a big deal to trying to fix these issues, and somebody needs to be comfortable with it beforehand. There's so much misinformation still to this day out there about, oh, well, if you file bankruptcy, you can't keep your car, or you can't, you're going to lose, they're going to come to your house and take your stuff, and things that never happen, nothing even remotely close to that.
Well, that's good to know. And like you said, sure, it's comforting to them to know that somebody like you are offering to help them, at least put them in, steer them in the right direction.
A lot of times when you're being garnished, trying to talk to a bankruptcy attorney, they're going to say, well, you got to pay everything up front, because most of the bankruptcy attorneys won't consider something called an emergency filing, because it says, I'll charge you a very minimal amount up front to file the minimum paperwork we've got to get your garnishment stopped. But if you're being garnished, for some attorney to say, hey, I need, $1,500, then to get it stopped, that's a little hard to do when they're taking 25% of what you bring home. So.
True. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Ryan. Bye-bye, everybody.